Picture this. You're in a meeting or at a party, and there's that one person who isn't really saying much. While everyone else is kind of scrambling to fill the silence, they're just watching. It's so easy to just label them as shy or maybe even bored, but what if that's not it at all? What if we've been completely misunderstanding one of the most powerful tools a person can have? Yeah, is silence really a weakness? Our world seems to scream that being loud means you're confident and being quiet means you've got nothing to add. But, the actual psychology behind it tells a completely different story. Today, we're going to dive into why silence isn't a flaw. It's actually a massive cognitive advantage. So let's just tear this whole misconception apart. On the left, you've got what we all assume. They're shy, insecure, maybe not paying attention. But the reality, over on the right, is so much more interesting. What looks like insecurity is actually deep, focused observation. And what we mistake for disengagement is really a powerful form of self-control. This is anything but passive. It's a full-on mental strategy. And that strategy, it all starts with their first, and maybe most important, superpower, observation. While everyone else is focused on what they're going to say next, the quiet mind is doing something way more strategic. It's gathering intelligence. And there's actual science to back this up. For a lot of these folks, it's not just a personality quirk. It's linked to something called heightened sensory processing. Now, what that means is their brain doesn't filter out information the way most people's do. So they aren't just hearing the words. They are processing the entire sensory landscape of a room. So what kind of information are we talking about here? Well, it's all the stuff that flies right past the rest of us because we're too busy formulating our own thoughts. They're catching those tiny shifts in someone's voice, the little micro-expressions that flash across a face for just a millisecond, the subtle way someone leans away that tells you how they really feel. Their brain is a pattern-finding machine, constantly analyzing this hidden data stream. So here's the big reframe. Instead of seeing them as antisocial, start seeing them as an intelligence analyst. They are quietly, carefully mapping the emotional and social dynamics of the entire room, getting the lay of the land before they ever make a move. And all of this deep awareness leads them right into their second power, the ability to protect their own inner peace. By observing instead of just reacting, they master this art of non-reaction, and that gives them the ultimate control over their own emotions. This quote absolutely nails their philosophy. Quiet people really get this fundamental truth. Your emotional reaction is always a choice. They see the bait all around them, the little provocations, the digs, the drama, and they simply choose not to bite. Just think about this metaphor for a second. When you instantly react every time someone pokes at you, you're literally handing them the remote control to your own mind. They can just push anger and boom, you get angry. They push defensive and you start defending yourself. Well, quiet people, they keep a death grip on their own remote. Let's walk through their strategy. First, some kind of provocation happens. An insult, a challenge, whatever. The automatic response for most of us is to fire right back. But the quiet person, they insert this tiny critical pause. And in that moment, they choose silence. By making that choice, they stay in the driver's seat of their own emotions and they protect their peace. They just refuse to let someone else's chaos become their problem. And this is what happens. Their silence isn't just empty space, it becomes a shield. It's like this invisible, totally unbreakable boundary that just protects their inner calm from all that unnecessary noise. You can't really disturb a peace that refuses to be broken. Now you'd think this kind of self-control and calm would be something everyone admires, right? But that's not always the case. In fact, this quiet, steady power can actually be incredibly intimidating to certain types of people. It really all comes down to where we get our sense of self-worth. See, on one side, you've got the validation seeker. Their confidence is totally external. It's fueled by praise, by attention, by likes. They need the noise of approval to feel okay. But the quiet observer's confidence? Oh, that's an inside job. It's built on a solid foundation of self-awareness and inner calm, and it doesn't need anyone else's opinion to exist. And that right there is why it can be so threatening. If your entire sense of value depends on getting it from others, then a person who is perfectly content without it feels like a direct challenge to your whole worldview. Their self-sufficiency proves that your worth doesn't have to be loud to be real. Okay, so let's wrap this all up. The next time you're in a room and you spot that person who isn't saying much, I want you to hit pause on those old assumptions about weakness or insecurity. It's time to start seeing their silence for what it really is. So if you remember anything, remember these three things. Silence is a tool for deep observation, letting them see the things everyone else misses. It is a powerful strategy for emotional protection, keeping their inner peace safe. And maybe most importantly, it's a huge sign of deep internal confidence. So I'll just leave you with this question. Once you start to understand how the mind really works, you begin to see incredible strength in the very places most people overlook. You see it in others, and maybe, just maybe, you start to see it in yourself. So what hidden power have you been overlooking?